right, we have a good number this morning. Good to see you here. We're going to be studying Proverbs about the tongue. So I'm looking forward to that. Let me get this opened up. Greg is out of town, so I'm doing a little bit of IT work.
In case someone asks if talking about using the tongue poorly, don't use me as too many examples.
Okay. I make no promises.
You could just say, for some we know about.
Right.
And I'll just take it that way.
Okay, all right. So some we know about. No. We've been talking about anger really over the last few weeks and studying different proverbs about anger, learning about our need to control our anger and to get rid of our anger without venting it on people who are around us. And a lot of those things that we've studied have been very closely tied to the tongue because when we get angry, it's not just physical fighting that we do, but oftentimes it's the tongue that we use to hurt other people. So we've already been talking about this, so this has already been kind of marinating on our minds. So the things that we're studying are very similar, but this and these lessons and these proverbs really start diving into the maybe not even whenever we're angry use of the tongue. Things that we might not even think about as being wrong, or we might not see anything wrong with. It seems innocent to us at the time. We started last week talking about gossip and how gossip, or tale-bearing is what the translator used in this. It is something that can be extremely, extremely destructive and ruin relationships. So we want to be very careful about the types of things that we share with other people. And if we do go too far, hopefully they will tell us, hey, that's probably private information, doesn't need to be shared. Have you gone to this person about it? You need to go to them and talk to them about that. And I like Melvin's words. We'll just keep that between us. We're not gonna spread that any further. So those kind of thoughts are really helpful. We're gonna continue along those lines a little bit and talk a little bit more about gossip, but also talk about other things that we could perhaps do with our tongue that would be evil and would cause people a lot of pain. Okay. First proverb is Proverbs 16, verse 27 and 28. Proverbs 16, 27, 28 says, "An ungodly man digs up evil, and it is on his lips like a burning fire. A perverse man sows strife, and a whisperer separates the best of friends." Okay. This is the alternate translation. So it says, "An ungodly man plots evil, and it is on his lips like a scorching fire. A perverse man sows strife, and a gossip separates the best of friends." Okay, so very harsh, condemning words for the person who is stirring up strife and is separating friends with gossip. Proverbs 26:27, "Whoever digs a pit will fall into it, and he who rolls a stone will have it rolled back on him." I like that one. So let's just talk about these two proverbs at this time. So what do you see in these proverbs? What do you learn?
You don't want to be like them.
Okay, for sure.
For one thing,
Yeah.
they are just causing undue stress and stuff on people that
Good.
don't really need it.
Yeah. Yeah, the words that we speak and the way that we talk, they can bring a lot of stress and a lot of pain on other people, for sure. Good.
It's a destroyer.
It is.
It is a fire. It's a destroyer,
Good.
and we need to control it. We need to learn to control it.
Yeah, so, and that kind of connects with a New Testament passage, right? James 3 talks about the tongue being a destructive fire that can set the whole forest ablaze, So very similar kind of idea here is what we find in James, yeah. Is that the way we think of our tongue? How many of us really think about our tongue being a destructive force like this? We're just talking, It
It hurts.
It does. It creates a lot of pain and distrust and animosity and strife and malice and all of these different kinds of things, okay? All right, what else do you see in this text? Anything else?
You know, this is describing a person that actively goes about trying to find something to talk about others,
Yeah.
to slander them.
Yeah, notice the wording here is pretty strong. This is an ungodly man who is digging up evil. He's plotting evil. So there's these motives within him to hurt somebody, and so he uses his mouth to do it. Okay? So I think what Roger says, right, is this idea of there's this desire within us to hurt people that is coming out in the things that we say. And we don't even think twice about the things that we say, because I didn't hit anybody, or, I didn't run over anybody with my car. Those kind of justifications come off in our mind. And yet here he's saying, if you're plotting evil in your heart, you're ungodly, and you're going to end up sowing strife. And notice the word, a whisper separates the best of friends. What does that imply?
Talking behind their backs.
Yeah. I'm not yelling. I'm whispering. Keith?
I think that thought could also go to the idea of a murmurer.
Yeah.
Some people are just negative.
Yeah.
And they always have something nasty to say. It makes me think about when the children of Israel came out of Egypt. In Deuteronomy, God talks about, there was some of you in your tents talking about, why did you bring us out of Egypt? It's that little deal that starts a snowball.
Yeah.
All it takes is the few that will listen to that and will think the worst of man, think the worst of the preacher, the worst of the song leader, the worst of whoever did whatever, and they just want to make their negative statement to their friend. Their friend makes it to another friend, and it's just destructive.
Yeah.
So we could use whisperer, mumbler. It's those words that are in the back rooms. It's the words that are in the privacy of the phone call.
Yeah.
And they're just as destructive. And we talk a lot in this country now currently about free speech. And so that would tell people you have the right to say whatever you want to say. Well, God doesn't give those same options to us. We can speak the truth. We can acknowledge when something is wrong, but He requires us to use wisdom and judgment and seasoned speech, that we know how to say it, that we have the humbleness to approach that, and we have a relationship with somebody before we start off on them.
Good. Yeah, I think that's spot on. Just think about, and you can think about how somebody has spoken negatively about you behind your back, or, just to somebody else, and maybe that really hurt your feelings. It really, you know what's going on. Maybe they never told you, but it's like it becomes obvious that there's this mentality about you that is spreading. Like multiple people have a mentality about you that, like, where'd that come from? And is it justified? Well, somebody thought it was, so they started talking about you and they spread it everywhere. So that's, unfortunately, that's the way that our society often operates. People kind of thrive off of those kind of words. And then take a second and think about, have I ever spoken those kind of words? Have I ever been the one who brought that upon somebody else? And hopefully that's something that, you can see in yourself that you've done that, and you'll prevent yourself from doing that in the future. I'll go Melvin first.
That whisperer may be like a man that I knew when I was growing up. He had a store, and he would tell people, different stories about people, and he didn't want you to tell it. He didn't want you to tell it. He was going to tell it. He would tell everybody in the country about it.
Yeah.
But he didn't want you to tell it. He
Yeah.
wanted to be in control.
Yeah.
Who
Yeah.
hears that,
Absolutely. Well, the crazy thing is today we've got these little things that we can tell everybody in a matter of seconds. We can just go through our contact list and and create a group text even and get multiple people at once, from long distance. So we have that ability to do that, and it's scary what we can do. Mark?
Well, to me, those kind of people that do it on purpose, they know it's a harmful statement. To me, those kind of people are the ones that they want to uplift themselves. They want to feel better about themselves, like how great they are.
Maybe so. It can be. I mean, in other situations, kind of like what Keith said, they're just really, they're negative people. They're discontent. They're not happy with the way things are. And the only thing that they can think to do to fix the situation is to grumble to somebody else. And maybe they think that that's going to fix something, but it's not. It's actually going to make things way worse. Ken?
My mind goes back to when Moses had bringing the children of Israel out of the land, and Miriam and Aaron, they started murmuring against Moses. One, he had a Cushite wife.
Yeah.
Two, there was pride there, and they thought, has not the Lord also spoken to us?
Yeah.
In Numbers 12, it talks about it, and the Lord took care of it real quick.
Yeah, he did.
In that case, he nipped it, as
Yeah.
45 would say, he nipped it in the bud.
Yes.
So he, that was taken care of, and that was something God would not accept.
Yes.
And he talks to us in 1 Thessalonians 5, he's talking about the second coming of Christ, but he's in verse 11, he says, therefore encourage one another and build one another up, just as you also are doing. So that idea of encouraging one another and building one another up goes totally contrary
Yes.
to talking about or whispering,
Yes.
whether it's a lie or whether it's the truth. That whispering doesn't do anything to build up.
Yeah.
It usually only helps build us up in our own minds because of the pride that we have, and we want to be exalted.
Yeah. Very
Too
true.
many times I've heard in the past, well, I've talked to them, so now I can free to talk to you. Well, that's not right. That's just not,
Yeah.
if I'm telling you a secret I have against Roger, which I don't know any secrets against Roger,
Yeah.
but if I tell you something, what good does that do?
Right.
It doesn't do anything to build Roger up, and it doesn't do anything to build the church up, because it creates more whispering.
Right. Yeah, and to be honest, it's hard to continually be positive and uplifting and to be encouraging and to be building up the church, especially whenever things don't always go well. It's kind of easy when things are going well. We feel good, we're excited, and we want to encourage and we want to build up. But when things are going poorly, and we feel like somebody needs to do something and we feel helpless and unable to do something, we might have a tendency to murmur and complain about the things that are going on. But we need to recognize what we're really doing is we're tearing down God's people. We're not building them up. We're not encouraging them. We're not helping them to feel excited about the grace that was given to them and recognizing how many blessings we have in Christ. And I think it's easy, especially, I've known preachers in the past who have gotten frustrated because they didn't see growth in the church, and they started grinding an axe and just started telling all these people what they're supposed to be doing and all this kind of stuff. And then they talk about people behind they'd be just talking about other people. They get a issue with somebody, and it's just going to kind of be this, I'm developing my side and you're developing your side, and then what happens? The church splits or the preacher gets, sent off. Like, those kind of events are all too common. And if we instead were the type of people who are focused on constantly what builds up my brother or sister, not, and what prevents me from tearing down my brother or sister, I think we as a congregation will grow stronger through that, and we'll see fruit. Keith?
So that brings a question. Assuming the best of everybody, which I absolutely do.
Yeah.
If we are flustered at times,
Yeah.
if we're thinking that we're disappointed in each other at times, what then should we do? Because this is what happens, not necessarily here.
Sure.
This is not us bashing,
Right.
But what should someone do when they love the Lord, they love the church, they want the very best for it, and they're a little flustered? Where should they put that effort at?
Good question. Good question. I'll let others answer first. Go ahead, Mel.
Prayer.
Good. Great answer. Number one answer, prayer. Who is the ultimate person who can help the situation? It's God. And he even tells us, if you pray to me, I'll add to your flocks. And he equates the flocks with the people of God. So like the new covenant that we're in with God, God wants to hear from us, and he wants to add to our flocks, and he wants to help us grow, and he wants to help us prosper. So be a prayer warrior, Don't think, and this is the thing that I was going to say first of all, don't think there's nothing you can do, and accept gossip or be negative toward other people, okay? If you need to vent frustrations to your spouse, be careful about venting your frustrations at all to anybody, even your spouse. That may not help. That may hurt your spouse, And instead, think about God and pray to God and, give yourself to prayer. Make this your endeavor. Like, I'm going to put God at the center of fixing everything. And I'm going to pray for him to fix things. Okay, what else do you think we could do? Y'all have any other thoughts?
Well, it comes from the heart. That's the main thing. I might
Sure.
be a little more serious if we talk.
Sure.
I think that first,
Good.
From the heart.
Maybe shift your perspective some, because realistically, okay, you're flustered, you're upset about the way things are going, and it's not going the way it should. For instance, we lost like 15 people in like 2 years, 3 years, just because jobs and things like that. Change your perspective, not thinking, this is just a dead-end place or something like that, but thinking we've got some really good quality people here, Look at the heart of the Christians who are here. Look how faithful they are. Look how strong they are. And look at how much they love each other and how they love new people that come into this place. Because God tells us over and over again in Scripture, we like to focus on what we see, and God don't care about that. What God cares about is what's on the inside and what is in the heart. Like, that is what his focus is. So shift your focus from what you see, we're not a megachurch. Who cares? Okay? To what is unseen. Wow, look at the quality of the souls that are coming together on the first day of the week and throughout the week, and the devotion that they give. Okay? So shifting our perspective on what's important and what we really have is very, very valuable to overcome the frustrations, because maybe we're frustrated and we really shouldn't be. We should be excited, People come into this place and they tell me, man, you've got a great group here. These people are pretty awesome, So they know, they see the difference, they've got a lot of people where they're at, but man, the heart and the love is not there. So be grateful for what you do have, I'd say. What else?
I was going to just say our perspective. Certainly we started with prayer.
Yeah.
But every one of us, all of our glasses are half full.
Yes.
And it's just how we look at it.
Good.
And so in the work world, I would tell this answer, and I've done that before, where I had a big meeting, I give everyone a mirror.
Yeah.
And I said, here's where you start.
Yeah.
Here's where you start. There's some problems. Everybody tells me everybody's the only one that answers the phone. Well, guess what? There's no way you answer every phone call.
Yeah.
There's no way 8 of y'all answer half the calls in this business.
Yeah.
It just can't. It's not mathematically possible.
Yeah.
Here's a mirror. But it's really our perspective. And
Good.
because Satan will always be battling.
Yeah.
And there will always be some casualties in that battle.
Yeah.
And there will always be something that we can look at that's negative.
Yeah.
But there's always so much more we can be thankful for.
Good.
And so when we're in our prayers, we're thanking God for all the blessings. We're thinking, could you imagine that? We lose 4 couples. We have 2 couples come. We ignore them.
Right.
Because we're just upset because the 4 left.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it can happen.
And then you wind up having someone like Thomas, and Claire.
Right.
Like, wow, what a blessing.
Right. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so for us, it's our perspective, because God wants our glasses full.
Yeah. Yeah.
He wants to give us fuller glasses. He wants to give us blessings. But if we go back and just look at how much more we don't have, we will be discontent for the rest of our life.
Yeah, absolutely. We've also got Melvin and Cindy. We also got Tony,
Oh, that's
Tony
funny.
and Jennifer. We got lots of people to be happy about. Thomas is an easy target because he's young. It's like, hey, this is great. You know, we love to see young people being faithful, and Claire as well. You know, like just that's a source of encouragement for sure. But you guys are encouragement to us too. What do you got, Melvin?
You know, instead of being negative, maybe become part of the solution.
Yeah, good. You know, first of all, I think it's important. This is a lesson I've learned. You can't fix the problem by yourself. You can't, okay? If you try to do everything, you will do poorly at everything. But that's not the way God designed the church. He didn't design the church for there to be just the 20% that's doing all the work and the 80% that are just attending. You know, it's everybody doing their part, doing their share. Be part of the solution means, what is your gift? What role do you play in building up God's body, the church? And whatever that is, you give yourself to it. I give myself to teaching. You know, I know that I can do other things. I can do all the IT stuff. I can go and visit people. I'm not very good at that. I can clean the church. I can do a lot of things. But this is what I improve. This is what I can do that God's given me that I can do that will have the biggest impact on the church. And so I give myself to this fully. And I trust you to give yourself fully to whatever God has given you the ability to do so that the church can be built up. So, and I want you to have that kind of perspective. Think about what gift, what role has God given you, and how can you give yourself to that in such a way that the church will be built up. Okay? And maybe attach yourself to somebody else and you guys work together, and that will build up the body as well. Okay? All right. Great thoughts. We kind of went into a tangent, but man, that's a powerful message to kind of counteract the issue that we're reading about here in this proverb. What do you think about the second proverb? Whoever digs a pit will fall into it, and he who rolls a stone will have it roll back on him. That's interesting. What goes around comes around. And don't we love that? I mean, it's like, oh, sweet justice, you know. But it's sad. I mean, it's sad that it's true. Here's somebody who is working real hard to bring about the fall of someone else, and then they themselves fall because of their pride and their arrogance. They end up hurting themselves. And it is in a sense, sweet justice, but really, ultimately, it's mercy, because God is hopefully helping them to open their eyes to their wickedness. And that's what we should be afraid of is, you know, we go down this path of trying to set up somebody else to fall, and we're speaking behind their backs and stuff. God's going to humble us, you know. That's his discipline that he's trying to give.
That's the word they came up with, karma.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. Does it always happen? No, it's not. It's not a rule of the universe that everything that every evil person, every evil act receives a just punishment. That's what the psalmists write about a lot, is like there's not justice. The evil are getting away with all this stuff, and the righteous are suffering. But on occasion it does happen, and we should expect it to happen. If we choose evil, we should expect to receive evil and punishment and suffering. Ken?
I can't help but think of Esther and Haman and Mordecai.
Yes. Oh, for
I mean,
sure.
Haman builds a gallows to get Mordecai hung on. And
Yeah.
what happens?
He's hanging on them. Yeah. Yeah. Great.
And he dug up a lot of what he thought was dirt, but God was still.
Yeah.
We have to remember that God is wanting us to succeed.
He
His
is.
grace and mercy is there for us when we falter.
Yeah.
And, you know, there are times people will not like us, but we still have to try to encourage one another, continually doing that.
Yeah.
Even when we have to dig hard to find that encouragement.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
whether it be our fault or their fault, we still have to try to encourage one another to keep fighting the fight,
Yeah.
right? Running the race.
Absolutely. that should be the goal. Keith, you have something to say?
I was gonna say, spiritually, this is a rule. It does,
Oh, for sure.
now it might be someone can do that and they get away with it physically on this earth.
Yeah.
And they cheat you out of a car, they keep the car, you know, and they drive it until they die. But spiritually, and I think that's more the point here, that if I'm laying in bed thinking of doing Proverbs 16 type stuff,
Yeah.
my life is ruined.
Yeah.
I have ruined my own life trying to ruin someone else's life.
Yes.
And there's no exception to that. That's a rule.
Good. Great thoughts. Great thoughts. Absolutely. Okay. All right, let's move to the next one. So Proverbs 17, verse 14. Proverbs 17, verse 14 says, "The beginning of strife is like releasing water or breaching a dam. Therefore, stop contention before a quarrel starts." I like this. Good illustration. Beginning of strife is like the releasing of water. Therefore, stop contention before a quarrel starts. What is this about? Anybody familiar with releasing water?
Well, it's easier to take care of the little dribble
Yeah.
than the flood of a massive amount of water.
Yes.
Massive amount of water. Once it gets going,
Yeah.
it's almost impossible physically to do
Yeah.
that.
It's like an unstoppable force. I mean, like, it will just crush houses. I mean, it takes houses off of their pillars and destroys them. So, I mean, there's some serious power behind water that is released like that. Good. All right, so what's he comparing that to?
It just gets bigger and bigger.
What does?
You get
The,
a gap. I mean, it's all you water out of your pond. You
oh,
know?
yeah. Yeah, good.
It's all you water. You know?
Right, it'll all go out.
Yeah.
Well,
What-
in the context of what we're studying, when we start hearing a rumor or a gossip, it's best to take care of it real quickly than, you know, if I start talking some nonsense, some rumor, or even talking truth, but downing people,
Yeah,
it's much better if you come to me and correct me then I get 4, 5, 6, 8, 10, 20, half the congregation,
Yeah.
then we're split and we're gone,
yes,
you know.
yes.
And that's the flooding aspect that we see. So
Good.
best I don't even start the rumor, but if I do, it gets fixed fast.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to let these things sit because they'll spread. It's like leaven that's just spreading throughout the whole lump. That's kind of the way that this works. So you really want to address it early and make sure that you're ready for that event if it were to take place.
Again, look what God did with Miriam and Aaron. He
Yeah.
addressed it early.
He did.
He got it taken care of,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it
Can't.
was fixed.
That's right. Good.
Abraham and Lot.
Yeah.
Many,
Interesting.
many big battles with many people dead start with a disagreement.
Yeah.
And we need to realize that. That's the reason we don't need to escalate.
Yeah.
We have to try to save the soul. We have to try to think about the church. And so we have to bite our lips.
Yeah.
And we can't allow that anger and hatred that's within us all out when we have a disagreement.
Yeah, if we will be peacemakers, like Jesus has taught us we're supposed to be, we actually can solve a lot of issues before they ever get to a point of being real harmful to other people. I mean, the truth is, I'm going to have wrong attitude or make a mistake. I'm going to do the wrong thing at some point. And if you love me, then you're going to help me see that in a loving way and not let me to just continue doing the thing that I'm doing and causing issues, you know. We need to have that willingness to step in and try to make peace. And maybe I've sinned against you. Well, you need to discuss that with me in a humble way and maybe even, you know, give in and you know, not fight me. You know, as I'm thinking about many times I've tried to help people and they've turned against me. then my response is not, okay, well, you want to fight, let's go, you know. But more so, this is not good. We need to take a break and relax for a little bit and discuss this whenever we're calm, and kind of leaving the situation and then coming back and discussing these things in a way that hopefully is respectful and kind to each other. And that's not easy to do, but that is a better response than allowing it to go on and get worse and worse. Okay.
Well, it's like if you have a problem with somebody, you go to that brother.
Yeah.
And you talk to them.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work, then you get another brother with you or two.
Yeah.
And then you go to you.
Exactly.
That's the best way to take care of the problem.
It is. It's
Almost
Matthew.
sounds scriptural, don't it?
Yeah. Yeah. That's Matthew 18. That's exactly what Jesus tells us to do. And it's funny how, I mean, like, churches don't follow that.
No.
Like, that's all we need to do is follow the instructions that he's given, you know. Good. Good. All right. I thought Ms. Betty had her hand up. No, Mark does. Go ahead.
To me, I always like the 10-second rule because I don't follow it that often and it gets me in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
So
You like the idea of
I
it.
like it, I just need to actually start using it
Yeah.
a lot better. But to me, that's the big thing. So sometimes we don't understand what that person's going through.
Sure.
And sometimes they're saying something because they're hurting
Yeah.
inside.
Yeah.
And they want to vent it,
Yeah.
and it comes at you where if you use that little 10-second rule, maybe you can sort of figure that out
Yeah.
and give them a loving answer
Good.
and move on, and it can stop a lot of things.
It's kind of like detaching yourself from the situation to allow yourself to see the big picture of what's going on, because you're kind of down in the weeds. Yeah. Good. All right, let's talk about a few more Proverbs before we close today. So this is about the benefits of the tongue. You know, we've talked about the tongue and bashed the tongue so much, like everybody here just wants to zip it and never say anything ever again, right? Well, the tongue can be used for a benefit, encouragement, building up, those types of things. So it can have an enormous impact on the lives of other people if it's used correctly. So that's what these Proverbs are about. Proverbs 10:20, the tongue of the righteous is choice silver. The heart of the wicked is worth little. All right, I like that. The tongue of the righteous is choice silver. The heart of the wicked is worth little. Proverbs 10:31, the mouth of the righteous brings forth wisdom, but the perverse tongue will be cut out. Ouch. The lips of the righteous know what is acceptable or fitting, but the mouth of the wicked, what is perverse. Okay? Interesting. Mouth of the righteous brings forth wisdom. The perverse tongue will be cut out. The lips of the righteous know what is acceptable, but the mouth of the wicked is perverse, or what is perverse. Proverbs 11:9, the hypocrite with his mouth destroys his neighbor, but through knowledge the righteous will be delivered. Okay. So in these, do you see the benefit of the tongue and how the tongue can be used well? And do you see kind of the contrast between using a tongue evil, using a tongue well? What do you think? What sticks out to you in all these?
It makes me think that our light should shine. That this is how we can do it.
Good.
This is how we can change the world. We should react differently. And it's not just trying to stop Kenneth from being such a mean person. You know, and my brother or my sister, it's the world.
Yeah.
And out in the world, we need to be the ones that are the logical, reasonable, using scripture, using God's will, and we can solve a lot of problems, and we can change the world.
Yeah.
Because the gospel is that powerful.
Yeah. And I think the gospel, that statement, just consider that is the means of salvation. Receiving the truth of the gospel, being preached, being taught, is the means of salvation. So does the tongue have some benefit? Yeah, and God wanted our tongues to be very beneficial to people who are around us. And he wanted to make that kind of the focal point of his whole salvation, was our tongues, our words coming out of our mouths, revealing the truth of the gospel that he's given to us. So, yeah, the tongue can have extreme power for good and extreme power for evil. We need to choose which way we're going to use it. Okay? Yeah, very good, very good. All right?
This wicked world we live in, that tongue needs to be heard.
Yeah,
That righteous tongue.
it does.
It really needs.
And I love the illustration, salt and light. You know, I mean, how many times have you thought, well, how can I be salt and light? Well, your tongue's really the heart of it. I mean, you know what is acceptable to say. Wisdom comes forth out of your mouth. The things that come out of your mouth have a positive, a profound impact on the people who are around you. Because of the way that they're spoken with love. And because of the content of what you're saying, you're speaking things that are true. Not things that are your own opinion that can be disproven, but you're speaking things that are actually true and helpful for the people who are hearing. Okay? Yeah, Kim.
Also, what doesn't come out of your mouth can have a big impact.
Yeah,
Um,
true.
I think of, I think of Jesus when he was being tried, the mock trial, the beatings and all like that.
Yeah.
I mean, what did he say? He didn't answer him, but yet his whole life before that was speaking and teaching the truth. But yet, at this point in time in his life, he chose to be silent.
Yeah. Yeah.
We need to figure out when we're supposed to be silent.
Yeah.
Let's scoot back up. I need to figure out
Yeah.
when I need to be
Sure.
silent.
Sure.
And when I need to speak, because that's the tough one.
Yeah.
When we're wronged, we want to lash out, and sometimes maybe it's best to keep some. I don't know. I haven't figured that out yet.
Yeah.
I'm still working on it. Lord, help me.
Right. Well, in that picture you see, you're surrounded by, people, Jesus is surrounded by people who mean him harm and are looking at his words, hoping to condemn him. And he's in a lot of pain, and there's just looking at that situation of what Jesus was going through and him being silent in that situation, it becomes a lesson for us about when we need to really focus on being silent. If somebody's being overly critical of us and trying to look for an issue in us that they can pounce on, well, our words are just going to give them that, We're going to remove all doubt that we're foolish if we open up our mouths. So we got to be careful.
Paul apparently saw something
Yeah.
in Jesus' demeanor.
Yeah.
And you take the soldier after his death, he recognized something because of the way Christ hung on the cross.
And those words that he spoke and the way that he died, that sent a message not just to, his followers, but also to all those listening. Even the Romans got the message because he was very careful about the words that he spoke. So maybe he wasn't completely silent, but he was mostly silent. And the words he spoke were carefully chosen. Yeah, no.
The phrase cut out in 1031, what does that mean?
The perverse tongue will be cut out. It means they're literally probably going to cut out tongues. That's what I would think, is back in those days they cut out tongues. Do you think it might be something referring to something else?
My first thought was cut out of heaven
Oh,
because
okay.
of your tongue.
Oh, okay. So kind of cut off,
Yeah.
cut out. Okay. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah. And
I didn't think it was quite literal.
Oh, okay.
Restricted,
yeah. Well, I thought that the picture of it being cut out was pretty gruesome, but maybe it's not such a gruesome idea. Maybe it is. I don't know.
Well, the passage earlier is talking about the mouth of the righteous bringing forth wisdom. Was the opposite of that. Many times these passages are referring to something like that.
Parallel.
One has got value.
Right.
One is should be honored, should be listened to, and the perverse one should be cut out of our memory, cut out of our thoughts.
Yeah.
Have no validity.
Sure.
And many times, like what Ken was talking about, if someone is ranting and raving, sometimes if we just let them rant and rave, especially if we're in a group,
Yeah.
everyone's gonna see them.
Yeah.
So many times your enemy, just let them run their mouth.
Yeah.
Because everyone's gonna see the true intent of their heart. if you continue to stop them from talking and you, do that. And so that's how Christ lived his life,
Yeah.
by doing that.
Yeah, multiplying words is not the best bet, unfortunately, and that may be kind of the path that we go down. But eventually, we could be, completely ignored if we say things that are just completely untrue and unhelpful and hurtful. We're not going to have any lasting impact. So yeah, good.
From what Melvin was talking about, with the tongue being cut out.
Yeah,
And so many times the Proverbs, they apply to them,
yeah,
and they apply to us in a different, maybe a different way or a similar way. But I can see the old law. I don't know if there was a law that talked about that, but many things, many sins, a person could be cut out of the tribe
sure.
and sent away.
Yeah,
Because of their wickedness.
Yeah.
So, could it be that and then a double meaning for us?
yeah,
As far as our status, as far as God taking us into his family, Paul told the Jews, hey, or he told the Gentiles, look, you were grafted in,
yeah,
and they can be brought back and you can be cut out.
Yeah.
So there's that idea that we need to be careful so that we're always, God and his grace and mercy is always working in us.
yeah,
And we give it the ability to work in within us.
yeah.
Because if we sin willfully and against it, then there's no more sacrifice.
Right. There's this picture of the harm that we can do with the tongue is really great. And that, I think, is a really strong warning for us to be aware, realize the effect. I love the last one too. We didn't talk about it yet. The hypocrite with his mouth destroys his neighbor, but through knowledge the righteous will be delivered. There is kind of the gospel part in the end of that. Your knowledge is going to help those who are righteous be delivered. You're going to help them to see the truth and to be delivered. If you're speaking wisdom and knowledge and understanding, but if you're speaking one thing and you're living a different life, you're really destroying people. You're not helping people. And ultimately, you're going to destroy yourself, right? I mean, there's judgment against people who are living that way. So we want to be aware of the impact of our words and the blessing that we can provide people. But also, I mean, there's a lot of suffering and a curse that can be put upon us if we use it wrongly. Okay. All right, last one. What you got, Mike?
Just like in verse 30, the righteous will never be removed, but the wicked will not inherit.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. Good. All right. Well, that's it for the class today. Thank y'all very much for your comments. We'll take about a 15-minute break.
Here's the question. When is your retirement day? When is your real retirement day? Where you don't go back to fill in or go back again? So that's the
Hey, thanks.
question that I want to really yeah. I want to. Yeah. Anyway. Awesome. You finally let him out for a while. Did he get anything out of it? Yeah.